Lo, Sir Ridley of Scott, master of the cinematic canvas, whose artistry hath bestowed upon us marvels unaccountable. Behold, Alien, where terror dwelleth in the shadowed stars. Blade Runner, a world of dreams and despair. Legend, a fantastical delight, though it pleaseth some more than others. The Martian, a tale of wit and survival amongst celestial desolation. And yet more he hath offered. G.I. Jane, Black Hawk Down, and American Gangster, each a testament to his manifold craft. Now comes he forth again, bearing upon his mighty shoulders the sequel to his famed work, Gladiator. This new endeavor, Gladiator 2, returneth us to the bloody sands of Rome's cruel arenas, to the din of clashing steel and the roars of the throng. 'Tis no mere fresh tale, nay, 'tis the next chapter in the epic saga begun in the year 2000, a continuation both daring and fraught with legacy. Hey there, welcome to Millennium Milestone Presents. Jokes aside and kidding, Gladiator 2 really is not that bad a film. It does deliver what you would expect from a Ridley Scott film, exotic immersive locations that tell a story of loss, revenge, and heroism. While some of it is a copy-paste of some of the beats from the original film, there are some subtle differences. It does its best to be unique from its predecessor. This is a spoiler-free review, and I will do my best to leave out important plot points as we dive deep into this review. The story centers around Lucius Verus, who was forced into exile in Africa for years, where he settled and had a modest, comfortable life until the Roman naval fleet arrives, sacking and pillaging the city he resides in. He is forced to return to Rome as a slave and pitted in the Roman Colosseum where the familiar hero Maximus Decimus Meridius had fallen decades ago. Lucius is the grandson of Marcus Aurelius, the former emperor, and would likely be the legal successor to the throne. However, at this time, Rome is under the rule of the twin emperors, Caracalla and Geta, two insufferable misfits that rule Rome with no desire to attain glory for no one but themselves. While in captivity, Lucius is befriended by Marcinus, played by Denzel Washington, a wealthy arms dealer who uses gladiators for sport. He offers Lucius the opportunity to get revenge on the man who ruined his life, General Marcus Acacius, played by pedropascal, who is married to the one woman that matters to him at this point, his own mother, Lucilla Vera.
Really?
Well, I did say it tries its best, but I digress. The story's theme of strength and honor is presented in words at the very least, though it is hindered by Lucius's desire for revenge against Acacius, another revisited theme from before. It also touches on family, with Lucius having to confront the fact that he was left to fend for himself without his mother for 20 years. And lastly, there is the aspect of power sharing through the twin emperors and their dealings with others who are chomping at the bits to take that power from them. As for the score, what can I say? It is very good and does help to tell the story for the most part. Gregson Williams wrote 100 minutes of the original score for the film while also incorporating some musical cues from the first film. He said he wanted to create a fresh sound while also embodying the spiritual essence of the original film. We do even get the original song, We Are Free, which was in the original Gladiator soundtrack. Now for my thoughts on the film overall. I did enjoy this film, though as many others had expressed, there is that nagging feeling of, did we really need this film? The short answer I would give is no. However, I will say if you are looking for a film to watch at theaters, this does check the boxes of a decent Ridley Scott film on its own. In fact, I would still recommend seeing it. It does have spectacle and does have its standout moments. Denzel Washington does what he does best, no matter what role he's in. He could play a lump of coal and still put out a stellar performance. He dials up his training day villain-style approach with ease. Pedro Pascal, perhaps, is the one I felt was used sparingly and not given enough screen time to understand the character he was portraying by the time we get to the midpoint of the story. Paul Mescal does have a presence in the film as the main character and is not insufferable like the twin emperors. The rest of the cast play their parts with no distracting issues. However, if you are a person that cares about fine-tuned plot points and have a hyper-focus for realistic expectations of how ancient Rome should be portrayed, this might not be the film for you. I had to ask myself if certain animals were used the way they were portrayed in ancient Rome. I'm no animal expert, but I'm sure riding a rhino is next to impossible. Other areas that I noticed were with Lucius. I felt as if his motivations were not clearly presented. Finding reasons to see him as a leader was a bit of a challenge, with very little context not given as to how he learned to be a great leader while being in exile. Again, this is a Ridley Scott film, and while he has had huge bangers, there have been a few misfires in his career. Or do we really need to go into talking about Prometheus and Alien Covenant?
No, God!
All in all, the film is passable, and you can set aside comparisons from the original Gladiator. You can enjoy watching it and look for moments that will entertain you.
Are you not entertained?
If there was one franchise it could take lessons from to be a better film, I would look at Terminator 1 and 2. Both films are good, but because they are different in their own right. Each film was years apart from each other, but found a way to take something that was familiar and give us something fresh and innovative. I'm not saying that the story doesn't work, but it needed its own unique take on a legendary story that was difficult to work with, requiring 3 writers to flesh out the story. The script was not even finished with 2 weeks to go before filming. Russell Crowe ad-libbed a lot of his lines in the film, including the infamous Strength and Honor line that was used in the beginning of the film, and brought back as a theme in this film, but vaguely has the same impact as the previous film. That was a unique set of circumstances that led to an Oscar-worthy win for Best Picture. I don't see this film meeting up to that standard. It will make good numbers at theaters. I'm just personally hoping that this will be the last film in that franchise. It doesn't need a third film. It has been a struggle for a long time to find good historical films that get our attention, and they do exist. I have not watched Reagan and Cabrini, for instance, but have heard nothing but good things about those films, which I will take some time to get into at some point. As for Gladiator 2, I'm not hating this film. I do like it in part, but I will say loving it is a bit of a stretch for me. Those are my thoughts on Gladiator 2. Thank you for coming to the channel, and you better believe I'll be back.